Hi, it's Greg Newson here, and lately I've been asked, is pyroluria real or is it a myth? Now there's some websites out there that are saying that it is indeed that. It is a myth, it's not real, and it's a make-believe condition. Now, people are entitled to their own opinion, but it then becomes a bit more confusing for other people to know whether, what direction they should take. So I thought I'd put this short video together just to hopefully explain why the myth may not be as accurate as some people are saying. So back in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of work done on pyroluria by Dr. Carl Pfeiffer and his team at the Pfeiffer Institute. Now they had a lot of success in treating people with mental health conditions with high doses of zinc and vitamin B6. What they thought when they were testing, what they thought they were measuring was a substance called cryptopyrroles. Now, that wasn't exactly true, but and in years later with more advanced testing, they found that they were actually measuring a substance called hydroxylhemperolin 2,1. We're just going to call that HPL. So HPL is the byproduct of heme manufacture. So when the body produces heme, there's a byproduct, and in this case it's this HPL. So there's hemoglobin, that's a heme molecule, so when the body produces that, HPL is produced. The P450 enzymes, the detoxification enzymes within the liver, they have a basis in heme, so they produce HPL. Catalase, which is an antioxidant enzyme, has a heme at its core, and that produces HPL as well. So what HPL does is that it blocks the receptor sites within the cell, or the cellular receptor sites, from uptaking or utilising zinc and B6. So and that's quite important. So it's not actually cryptopyrrole. So if you look at it, the molecules, they're very similar. Just picture it like two circles. The HPL molecule's just got a little pimple on it, and that's the difference. That's the only difference. So it can be confusing back when technology wasn't as advanced as it is now to mistake the cryptopyrrole molecule for the HPL molecule. But what some of the websites are saying is that it's all cryptopyrrole this and it's cryptopyrrole that. Cryptopyrrole's got nothing to do with it. It's hydroxylhemperolin, HPL. That is the thing. And when you get a test result, they will tell you your HPL level, your normalised HPL level is boom. And that's just HPL HPL can also be called the mauve factor. Both of those are exactly the same, just different names. So just be mindful that we're not measuring cryptopyrroles, we're measuring HPL. Another thing that people say is that there is so many different signs and symptoms associated with pyroluria. And yes, there is. And the reason why there is because the range of zinc and the B6, or the therapeutic range of zinc and B6 and biotin and GLA within the body is so huge. Like zinc is involved in almost 300 chemical processes within the body. It's involved in immune, nervous system, skin, digestion. It's involved in so many different processes. So if you're low in zinc, you're going to have almost 300, you can potentially have 300 abnormalities or 300 signs and symptoms or 300 processes that aren't working effectively. B6 is essential for the whole nervous system. It's needed for the cardiovascular system, the immune system, digestive system, the metabolism. Biotin is the same, the nervous system, digestive, the skin, the metabolism, and same with the gamma-linolenic acid, the GLA. So if we just look at how important those nutrients are, and just how and hopefully by what I'm about to say, you can understand where having a deficiency in one area can cause so many signs and symptoms. So if we look at serotonin, now low serotonin is associated with depression, but low serotonin can also cause anger, mood swings, bipolar, mania, suicidal thoughts, unfortunately suicide, carbohydrate cravings, insomnia, obesity, right? So those things are all attributed to low serotonin levels, or can be all attributed to low serotonin levels. We can throw anxiety in with that as well. Now, serotonin is manufactured from the essential amino acid called tryptophan. Tryptophan is converted down to a substance called 5-hydroxytryptophan, which is then converted down to serotonin. Now, to convert 5-hydroxytryptophan to serotonin, you need zinc and B6. If you're low in zinc and B6, you do not manufacture serotonin. If you're low in serotonin, all of those symptoms I've just mentioned, plus a whole heap more, can occur. Right? That's just one chemical pathway in the body. That's just serotonin. If we look at another neurotransmitter, GABA, low levels of GABA, anxiety, panic attack, epilepsy, convulsions, nervousness, racing mind, insomnia, not feeling like you can cope with the world, rushing and rushing and rushing. They are signs and symptoms of low GABA. To convert glutamate, the precursor to GABA, you need an enzyme called glutamate decarboxylase. That enzyme is dependent on vitamin B6. If you don't have vitamin B6, you don't make glutamate decarboxylase. If you don't do that, you don't make GABA. Guess what? All of those signs and symptoms again cause that problem. Another area is, and this is an important area, is digestion. So the stomach acid. Now the role of the stomach acid is to break down food. So if you have, think of it this way, when you chew your food, the saliva and the action of chewing tells the stomach to start secreting acid. And that's like a building that's going to be wrecked. And you've got an old building that's going to be wrecked, and you've got a crane with one of those big wrecking balls, and that wrecking ball comes along and goes bang, and it hits that wall, and it breaks that wall down to big chunks of brick. Okay? Then and that's what the stomach acid does to the food. And then from there, that stomach acid, from there the food goes from the stomach into the intestines, which break that big chunk of brick down to grains of sand, and those grains of sand then get absorbed through the villi in the intestines and go into the bloodstream and be utilised by the body. Okay, now to make stomach acid, you need zinc and vitamin B6. You also need B1 and the amino acid histidine. So if you're low in zinc and B6, you don't make stomach acid. All right, problem number one. So if you don't make stomach acid, we know that low stomach acid levels, and people that are on the Nexium and Somac and protein pump inhibitor medication, they have low stomach acid levels. They and people with low stomach acid have low calcium absorption, low magnesium absorption, low vitamin C absorption, low folate absorption, low B12 absorption, low iron, low B1, low B3. So if you're low in those nutrients, you've got a whole heap of chemical processes not working within the body. Right? So low calcium, we've got osteoporosis, low magnesium, cramps, high blood pressure, low iron, fatigue, low B12, anemia, low iron, anemia, low folate, anemia. It just keeps on snowballing. So that's why, and then if we go down into the stomach acid, to make the digestive enzymes, biotin is essential. Biotin is in the fluid that comes out and makes all those digestive enzymes healthy. Right? So low biotin, poor digestive enzymes. And you need GABA to make the digestive enzymes. GABA is involved in that whole releasing and production of digestive enzymes. So if you're low in GABA, you're low in stomach acid, you're low in digestive enzymes, you don't absorb nutrients from food. If you don't absorb nutrients from food, every part of the body suffers. That's why, if you can start to understand now, if you're deficient in these nutrients, that's why there's such a broad range of health conditions associated with pyroluria, and really the only way to find out whether those health conditions is caused by the hydroxylpyrrole or it's something else is doing a test. Right? So it is important. So that's why there are so many different signs and symptoms associated with pyroluria. Now, I was thinking about the myth thing, and I just thought about what health conditions over the years have been put into the make-believe box, only to come out of the make-believe box to be a real health or a medical or a health condition. So I remember back in the 80s, repetitive strain injury, RSI, was quite common in Australia, and that was from people because of the whole advent of desktop computers and everyone was typing away and there was no ergonomically designed keyboards and chairs and tables, and everyone was typing away, and they get all the strains of the tendons and the muscles and the ligaments in the hands and the arms, and that caused a lot of pain. If you've ever had tennis elbow, you can just picture that up through the arms and the hands there. So originally that was, in Australia, that's not a real condition. You're just trying to get workers' compensation. Okay? So that was dismissed. But fortunately, then it was realised that yes, it is a major condition, and things have then, over the years, have changed, and we now know it's a condition, and offices are ergonomically designed to prevent that from happening. Chronic fatigue was another one around the same time, which is severe adrenal fatigue, which causes, obviously chronic fatigue, as the name says, can cause fibromyalgia as well. And that's the adrenal glands not functioning properly. Medicine didn't have tests for it. They just said, there is nothing wrong with you. It's all in your mind. go away. Now, talking about all in your mind, back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, what about depression, anxiety? They were all make-believe things. From the war, post-traumatic stress syndrome, the Vietnam War, they were nothing. Now, we all know depression and anxiety, they're just one of the most common things, unfortunately, in society today. But they at one stage were in the myth category, as was menopause. Now, most women know what menopause is. Most males who were doctors at the time had no clue, right? So it was, nothing wrong with you, go away. So you're getting a hot flush, don't worry about it. There's nothing wrong. So if you can start to see over the years that what was originally a myth has now become more factual, you'll find the same with a whole lot of conditions, including pyroluria, in years to come. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an understanding of why pyroluria may not necessarily be a myth. There is a test to study, there is a test to measure your hydroxylheme pyrrole. So that within itself shows us that science has said, okay, hydroxylheme pyrrole is a condition, is a substance that's made, it's inhibited the zinc and the B6 from absorption. There's a test to do it. Medicine, unfortunately, takes quite a few years to catch up with science. It's just the way it is. So eventually that'll filter through. Now, medicine doesn't really have any way to treat it, so it may not filter through as quick as a depression with Prozac or anxiety with Valium or something like that. So if this video was helpful, please like it or leave a comment or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, this is Greg. Have a wonderful day.